Lisa Carter walked into the big meeting room on Space Station, Kepler 7. Her hands shook a little as she looked at all the alien faces staring at her. Representatives from 43 different species sat in their special chairs, waiting to hear what Urk had to say. The room was huge and round, with lights that changed colors depending on which alien was speaking. Lisa had been Earth's ambassador for 20 years, but today felt different. Today, she wasn't here to make friends or trade deals, okay? Today, she was here to give a warning. She stepped up to the speaking platform in the center of the room. Her voice echoed as she began to talk. For 300 years, we have followed the Treaty of Sol, she said. We kept our military ships in our home solar system. We limited how many worlds we could settle. When you asked us to fight in your wars, we only sent small forces. A creature that looked like a giant insect clicked its mouthparts. This was Vexstar, the leader of the Zephyrian people. His translator made his clicks sound like words. Humans always talk about holding back, but you take over star systems faster than anyone else. Lisa's eyes went hard. You think we're aggressive because we're good at exploring and building colonies, but what you don't understand is the difference between our civilian ships and our real military. She pressed a button on her wrist device. The air above the platform shimmered and turned into a three-dimensional star map. It showed human space with all the planets, stations, and ships that everyone knew about. This is what you think human space looks like, Lisa said. Our exploration ships, our trade vessels, our defense stations. But this is only what we wanted you to see. Admiral Jake Morrison stepped forward. He was a tall man with gray hair and scars on his face from battles in distant star systems. His uniform had medals that most aliens had never seen before. Okay? The Human Defense Force has 2.7 million people serving across known space, he said. That sounds like a lot, okay? But it's actually only 4% of our real military strength. The room erupted in surprised noises. Aliens gasped, clicked, hissed, and made other sounds of shock. The lizard-like creature from the saurian species spoke up. That's impossible. We watch your shipyards. We count your soldiers. We know how many ships you build. You know what we let you see, Lisa said calmly. For 3 centuries, we've been hiding our true strength. We call it the Reserve Protocol. She pressed another button. The star map changed dramatically. Thousands of new lights appeared across human space. Mining stations revealed themselves as massive fortresses. Cargo ships shed fake outer hulls to show they were actually warships. Research labs opened up to display huge fleets hidden inside. The aliens in the room went completely silent. Even their translators stopped making noise. Every human world is a fortress, Admiral Morrison explained. Every space station can become a weapons platform. Every civilian ship can transform into a military vessel. We've been preparing for this day since we first met another intelligent species. Lisa looked around the room at all the shocked faces. The Hegemony Alliance has declared war on Earth. They think humanity grows too fast and takes too much space. They've convinced 12 council species to support an invasion of our home system. Vexstar recovered from his shock first. His mandibles clicked as he spoke. Even if your numbers are real, the hegemony commands 600,000 warships. Your hidden fleets cannot match the combined might of the galaxy. Admiral Morrison smiled, but it wasn't a happy smile. We still don't get it. The 2.7 million people you know about aren't even our military. They're our space police, our border guards, our trade protection service. Our actual military has been training for a war like this since the day we realized we weren't alone in it. The universe. He gestured to the star map. Okay, these ships you've seen fighting in border wars and defending trade routes. They're our civilian fleet with basic weapons attached. We've never shown you what a real human warship looks like. The room stayed quiet as the meaning of his words sank in. Lisa felt sad as she prepared to say the final part of her message. For For 300 years, we tried to be good neighbors. We followed your rules. We limited our expansion. We fought in your small wars with honor and restraint. We held back our true nature because we wanted to live in peace with all of you. Key paused and looked directly at each delegation. That ends today. The Hegemony Alliance has chosen war. When they attack Earth, they will face humanity as we really are. We are not the peaceful explorers you think you know. We are not the limited military force you've been watching. We are the species that survived wars that destroyed entire civilizations before we ever left our home planet. Lisa's voice grew stronger. We tried to warn you. We offered peace. We showed restraint. But you mistake our kindness for weakness. You think our cooperation means we're soft. You're about to learn how wrong you are. She began walking toward the exit with Admiral Morrison beside her. Before leaving, she turned back one more time. When this war begins, remember that you started it. Remember that we gave you every chance to avoid it, okay? And when you see what we're really capable of, remember that we tried to protect you from this knowledge. The human delegation left the chamber. Emergency meetings began as alien leaders tried to understand what they had just heard. But it was too late. The Hegemony Alliance had already committed their fleets. The largest invasion force in galactic history was already moving toward Earth. They thought they were going to crush a small human military that had been hiding its true size. They had no idea they were about to face a species that had been preparing for this exact war for 3 centuries. They were about to learn why Earth had warned them about holding back. The galaxy was about to discover what humans were really like when they stopped being nice. Elena Rodriguez stood on the bridge of the ED's Retribution and watched the stars through the main window. Her ship was nothing like what the galaxy had seen before. It was 3 kilometers long, painted black like space itself, and covered with weapons that broke 6 different galactic war treaties. Enemy ships coming out of hyperspace, said Lieutenant Danny Walsh from his control station. 74 ships, led by their flagship Eternal Dominion. Lena nodded calmly. She had been waiting for this moment her entire career. Send a message to all our ships. Release the reserve protocol. Full military power is now authorized. Across human space, everything began to change. Asteroid mining stations dropped their fake outer shells and showed their true form as massive battle platforms. Research outposts opened hidden doors and released fleets of warships that had never been recorded in any galactic database. Civilian transport ships suddenly activated military identification codes and changed into battle configuration. Captain Ryan Brooks was defending the Proxima Centauri system when his radar screen filled with new contacts. Yesterday, he commanded 15 patrol boats. Now, he was looking at 200 military vessels. Command, this is Proxima Defense, he said into his radio. I'm seeing 200 warships where I had patrol boats yesterday. The voice that answered came from Fleet Admiral Kate Sullivan. She was speaking from a secret command center buried deep under Earth's South Pole. That's just the beginning, Captain. We've been building for this war for 300 years. Every human world, every station, every outpost was designed to become a fortress when the galaxy turned against us. War Commander Zekthal led the Hegemony Advanced Fleet toward Proxima. His species called themselves the Ascendant, and they had been conquering other worlds for thousands of years. Intelligence reports said the humans had only light defenses in this system. His 74 ships should easily destroy whatever was waiting for them. What he found was beyond his worst nightmares. The Retribution came out from behind Proxima's largest moon with its weapons already glowing with power. But it wasn't alone. From every direction, human warships appeared. They came out of stealth fields, dropped asteroid camouflage, and emerged from hyperspace ambush points. The Hegemony fleet found itself surrounded by ships that made their own vessels look like toys. This is Commander Rodriguez of the Earth Defense Ship Retribution. Elena broadcast on all radio frequencies. You are in human space with hostile intent. You have 30 seconds to surrender or leave. War Commander Zekdal's reply was full of contempt. Primitive humans, your threats are amusing. Okay? We have come to end your danger to galactic peace. Surrender now, and we will kill you quickly. Elena's smile was cold and dangerous. 30 seconds are up. All ships, weapons free. Then what real human warfare looks like. The battle lasted 18 minutes. When it was over, only 3 hegemony ships were left alive, running away as fast as their engines could carry them. 71 ships from the most advanced civilizations in the galaxy had been turned into floating debris and radiation clouds. The Retribution had not even used its main weapons yet, as the surviving enemy ships jumped to hyperspace to tell their commanders what happened. Admiral Sullivan's voice echoed across all human space. All reserve protocol assets are now active. This is no longer a small conflict. This is war, and we will fight it the way humans have always fought when our survival is threatened, without mercy, without limits, and without apology. Then ours. The message reached every human colony. Hidden factories that had been disguised as civilian manufacturing plants began working at full capacity, building weapons and ships. Secret agents who had been living normal lives in alien societies for decades activated their true missions. From the dark edges of the solar system, ships began moving that made the Retribution look like a small escort vessel. Captain Janet Pierce commanded one of these ships. The Ad's Vengeance had been hidden in the Orc cloud for 50 years, disguised as a research station studying comets. Now it moved toward the inner system, its true size becoming clear. At 8 kilometers long, it was larger than most space stations. All hands, this is the captain, she announced over the ship's communication system. We have waited half a century for this moment. The galaxy wanted to see what humans really are when we stop holding back. Today, we show them. Transformation was happening everywhere. On Europa, Jupiter's ice moon, the surface cracked open like an egg. Underneath was a massive shipyard that had been building ships in secret for decades. Hundreds of fresh warships poured out, each one designed specifically for destroying alien fleets. Dr. Paul Mitchell had spent 20 years pretending to run a research facility on Europa's surface. In reality, he was the shipyard's chief engineer. Launch Bay 7. You're clear for departure, he said into his headset. Remember, these ships were built for one purpose. Every shot count. The Hegemony Alliance had wanted to crush what they thought was a small human military hiding behind civilian ships. Instead, they had awakened something that had been waiting patiently for this exact scenario. Every human world revealed weapons that had been hidden for generations. Every civilian facility showed its true military purpose. Colonel Susan Martinez commanded the defense of the Wolf 359 system from what everyone thought was a mining operation. All platforms, this is Wolf Base. The enemy thinks we're miners and farmers. Show them what we really are. Her mining platforms suddenly bristled with weapons. Her farming domes opened to reveal missile batteries. Her civilian transports deployed military-grade shields and began hunting enemy scouts. The pattern repeated across 100 systems. The Hegemony had expected to fight converted civilian ships and small defense forces. Instead, they were facing the most advanced military machine in galactic history. One that had been designed and built specifically to fight this exact war. Admiral Sullivan watched the tactical displays from her command center. Green lights showed human victories across dozens of star systems. Red lights showed enemy forces in retreat or destroyed. There were very few red lights left. Ma'am, said her aide, we're receiving surrender requests from 17 different species. They want to negotiate. Too late, Sullivan replied. They had centuries to negotiate. They chose war instead. Now they get to learn what human war really means. The Hegemony Alliance had demanded to see humanity's true nature. They wanted to fight humans without restraint or mercy. They were about to get exactly what they asked for, and it would be more terrible than anything they could have imagined. General Marcus Stone stood in the war room buried deep under the Nevada desert. The room was filled with glowing screens showing battle zones across 1,000 light years of space. 3 months had passed since humans stopped holding back, and the galaxy was learning what human warfare really meant. "Give me the status report," he ordered. Colonel Amy Chen pointed to the main display showing colored dots across a star map. The Hegemony's second attack wave has been completely destroyed. 1,700 ships lost across 8 different star systems. Their third wave is too scared to move forward until they can bring in backup forces from their home worlds. About our losses: 43 ships damaged, 7 destroyed. Total human deaths: 212. The numbers would have seemed impossible to anyone watching from outside. The Hegemony Alliance represented 15 different alien species, each with thousands of years of war experience, yet against humanity's real military forces. They were being slaughtered like animals. The secret was in how humans thought about war. Other species saw war as politics with weapons. Humans understood war as a fight for survival, and survival meant completely destroying anything that threatened them. Captain Greg Miller commanded the EDS Nemesis in the Vega system. He was chasing the retreating Saurian Fourth Fleet through space. His ship was smaller than the alien flagship, but it had been built for one purpose: killing other spacecraft as efficiently as possible. "We're trying to escape to hyperspace," reported Lieutenant Sandra Park from her control station. "Not today," Greg said calmly. "Deploy the interdiction grid." The technology was another human secret. While other species built faster ships or stronger shields, humans had focused on preventing enemies from running away. The interdiction grid created a space-time distortion that made hyperspace travel possible within 50 light minutes. The Saurian fleet found themselves trapped in normal space with human ships designed for hunting and killing. The battle lasted 6 hours. When it ended, the Nemesis was already tracking the next group of fleeing enemies. Meanwhile, the political situation was falling apart for the Hegemony Alliance. Ambassador Lisa Carter worked from a hidden facility near Jupiter, watching as former allies began switching sides. "The Centauri Republic is leaving the Alliance," reported her aide, Deputy Ambassador Ron Taylor. "They want immediate peace talks. The Aquilian Empire sent an official apology and wants a treaty promising we won't attack them." Lisa nodded grimly. "What about the core Hegemony members, still committed to the war, but their support is crumbling?" The Zephyrian delegate has been replaced twice. Apparently, their previous representatives asked for immediate retirement after seeing the battle videos from Proxima. The videos had been deliberately leaked by human intelligence. They showed the complete destruction of a Hegemony fleet by a single human battle group using weapons and tactics that violated every rule of civilized warfare. The images of ships being torn apart by weapons that turned matter directly into energy, of escape pods being hunted down and destroyed, of captured facilities being reduced to atoms, had terrified alien governments across the galaxy. The galaxy was finally seeing humanity's real face, and it was more frightening than their worst nightmares. Admiral Kate Sullivan commanded the war from our hidden base on the fortress world of Haven. She received daily intelligence reports with the calm expression of someone who had expected all of this. "The Hegemony is mobilizing their core defense fleets," she announced to her staff. 2 million ships, including their most advanced dreadnoughts. "They're calling it Operation Final Solution." Her staff looked at each other nervously. The numbers were huge, even by human standards. "Ma'am," said Commodore Kevin Walsh, her chief of staff, Our intelligence suggests they're planning to bypass our defenses and attack Earth directly. They want to cut off the head of our government. Kate's smile was cold as winter. Then they'll get to see what we built in our home system while they thought we were behaving ourselves. Send a message to Terra Command. Activate the Soul Fortress Protocol, code hidden throughout Earth's solar system. Weapons that had been built over 3 centuries began coming online. Inside Earth's moon, in the asteroid belt, and in installations disguised as research stations. The most powerful weapons ever created by humans prepared for battle. Dr. Rachel Warren had spent her entire career managing what everyone thought was a geological research station on the far side of the moon. In reality, she was the chief engineer for humanity's most closely guarded secret. Luna Base to Terra Command, she reported. Project Moonbreaker is fully operational. We can crack a planet in half if necessary. Project Moonbreaker was a weapon built inside the moon itself. It used the moon's entire mass as a projectile accelerator, capable of firing rounds at a significant fraction of light speed. Each shot could destroy a space station or a cripple dreadnought from millions of kilometers away. Captain Tony Rodriguez commanded the hidden fleet base inside the asteroid series. For 50 years, it had appeared to be a simple mining operation. Now, blast doors opened across its surface, revealing hangar bays that stretched deep into the asteroid's core. Series Fleet Command to all ships, he broadcast. This is what we trained for. The enemy wants to attack our home. Show them why that was a mistake. Hundreds of ships emerged from Ceres, each one a masterpiece of human military engineering. These weren't the converted civilian vessels the galaxy had grown used to seeing. These were pure warships, built in secret over decades, designed to fight battles exactly like this one. The transformation was happening across the entire solar system. Io revealed itself as a massive weapons platform. The rings of Saturn opened to show hidden ship construction facilities. Even the sun itself had been modified with solar collection arrays that powered weapons capable of sterilizing entire star systems. Lieutenant Colonel Dave Parker managed the space traffic control for the inner system. His screens showed thousands of new contacts as humanity's true defenses came online. Terra Command. This is inner system control, he reported. We have 17,000 active weapon platforms now online. Another 8,000 ships moving into defensive positions. The enemy has no idea what they're flying into. The largest invasion force in galactic history began its final approach to humanity's home system. Humans prepared to demonstrate why Earth had remained unconquered for millions of years of evolution. Every rock, every piece of space debris, every seemingly innocent civilian structure had been turned into a weapon. The Hegemony Alliance had demanded war without mercy. They wanted to see humanity's true nature when all restraints were removed. They were about to witness the most one-sided battle in galactic history, fought by a species that had been preparing for this exact moment since the day they first looked up at the stars and wondered what else might be out there. The galaxy had refused to listen to humanity's warnings about holding back. Now they would learn why those warnings had been humanity's greatest act of mercy. High Admiral Vexquin stood on the bridge of his massive command ship, Galactic Unity, through the windows. He could see his fleet stretching across space in all directions. 2 million ships from 12 different species made up the largest military force in galactic history. Today, they would finally destroy the human threat forever. Long-range sensors show only light defenses, reported his tactical officer. Maybe 200 ships in the outer system. Normal patrol setup. Queen-S insect-like mouthparts clicked with satisfaction. The humans have sent their forces to defend their colonies. Earth lies helpless. He activated the fleet communication system. All ships, this is High Admiral Vexquin. Today, we end the human problem forever. show no mercy. But as the huge fleet crossed into Earth's solar system, space around them came alive with weapons fire. What had looked like empty space suddenly filled with deadly energy beams as thousands of hidden weapons revealed themselves. Asteroids dropped their disguises to become massive gun platforms. Research stations opened like flowers to show particle beam arrays that could cut through the strongest armor. Colonel Beth Martinez commanded sole defense from our hidden base inside Earth's moon. She watched the trap spring with cold satisfaction. All platforms start firing. Authorization. Omega Protocol. No survivors. The Omega Protocol was humanity's most secret weapon system. Every civilian building in the solar system, every mining platform, every communication relay had been built with a hidden purpose: to become a weapon of war when Earth was threatened. Captain Steve Thompson commanded what everyone thought was a research station on the dwarf planet Ceres. He felt his massive installation shake as its main weapon systems powered up. This is Ceres' platform to SAL defense. Fortress-class particle accelerator is charging. Target, enemy command ship. Fighting. The weapon that emerged from Ceres was the size of a city block. It had been built over 50 years, disguised as mineral extraction equipment. When it fired, the energy beam punched clean through 3 enemy dreadnoughts before hitting the command ship's shields. Admiral Fexquin watched in horror as his invasion fleet was torn apart by weapons appearing from everywhere at once. How is this possible? Our spies showed minimal defenses. The answer came from an unexpected source. A human transmission appeared on all frequencies, showing Ambassador Lisa Carter standing in what was clearly a military command center. Hi, Admiral Vexquin. This is Earth's Defense Command. Deed, really think we will leave our home world undefended? The Sol system isn't just our birthplace. It's the most heavily armed system in the galaxy. Every rock, every piece of debris, every innocent-looking civilian structure has been weaponized over 3 centuries. As if to prove her point, Jupiter's moon Europa cracked open like an egg, revealing a massive shipyard hidden beneath its ice. Hundreds of fresh warships poured out, each one larger and more advanced than anything the hegemony had brought to the battle. Captain Jennifer Walsh commanded the newly launched EDS Apocalypse from the Europa shipyards. The Apocalypse was humanity's newest class of vessel, built specifically for battles like this. At 5 kilometers long and armed with weapons that drew energy directly from empty space. It represented everything humans had learned about war. This is Apocalypse 2 all-soul defense units, she broadcast. We are humanity's answer to extinction threats. Show them what happens when they threaten our home. The battle that followed was less a fight than a systematic execution of the hegemony. Fleet, designed for normal warfare between civilized species, found themselves facing an enemy that fought like a force of nature. Human ships appeared and disappeared using stealth technology decades ahead of anything the galaxy possessed. Weapons that should have been impossible tore through shields and armor like paper. Most terrifying was humanity's complete disregard for the laws of war. Escape pods were hunted down and destroyed. Ships trying to surrender were vaporized before they could finish their messages. Wounded enemy vessels were finished off with ruthless efficiency. Commander Del Morris piloted a small human fighter through the chaos of battle. His job was simple: make sure no enemy survived to tell others what they had seen. Control, this is Hunter 7. I have 3 enemy escape pods attempting to flee the battle zone. Roger, Hunter 7. You are cleared to engage. No witnesses. The fighters' weapons were designed for precision work. Each escape pod disappeared in a brief flash of light. Dale felt nothing as he eliminated the survivors. This was war, and in war, Ursi was a luxury humanity could not afford. General Marcus Stone observed the slaughter from Earth's command center, Ativ, underground. He felt no satisfaction as he watched the enemy fleet being systematically destroyed. Signal all units. Begin Phase 2. Activate the pursuit fleets from hidden bases throughout the outer solar system. Fresh human fleets emerged. These weren't defensive units, but hunter-killers, designed to chase down fleeing enemies and prevent them from carrying word back to their home worlds. Captain Lisa Park commanded one of these pursuit groups from her ship, Ed's Relentless. All ships, this is Pursuit Group Alpha. Enemy vessels are attempting to reach hyperspace jump points. Our orders are simple. No one escapes. The human pursuit ships were faster than anything the aliens had ever seen. They used technology that bent space itself, allowing them to catch fleeing enemies before they could reach safety. One by one, the surviving hegemony ships were run down and destroyed in the dark between planets, as the last enemy vessel was reduced to expanding Ks and debris. Colonel Martinez activated the solar system's communication array. Her message would reach every species in the galaxy within hours. This is SAW Defense Command to all galactic civilizations. The Hegemony Alliance invasion force has been completely destroyed. 2 million ships eliminated. Human casualties, 0. This is what happens when you threaten Earth. This is what happens when you force humanity to stop being nice. Dr. Sarah Kim worked in the hidden communication center beneath Earth's South Pole. Her job was to make sure the message reached every corner of known space. Message transmitted to all known civilizations, she reported. Estimated delivery time, 6 hours for the nearest systems, 48 hours for the rim territories. The message would trigger the largest refugee crisis in galactic history, as entire species began fleeing toward the edge of the galaxy, desperate to put distance between themselves and humanity. But for the leaders who had started this war, there would be no escape. Admiral Vexquin's command ship drifted powerless through space, its engines destroyed and life support failing. He had survived only because the humans wanted him to carry a message back to his people. A human voice spoke over his ship's communication system. "Hi, Admiral. This is Admiral Kate Sullivan of the Human Defense Force. You came here to destroy us. Instead, you have seen what we are truly capable of when we stop holding back. Return to your people. Okay. Tell them what happened here. Tell them that humanity is no longer interested in peace negotiations or diplomatic solutions. Tell them that any species that threatens us will share your fate." As Vexquin's crippled ship limped away from the solar system, carrying its terrible message back to the galaxy, humanity began preparing for the next phase of the war. The enemy had attacked their home. Now it was time to return the favor. The age of human restraint was over. The age of human dominance was about to begin. 6 months after the destruction of the Hegemony invasion fleet, Fleet Admiral Kate Sullivan stood on the observation deck of the EDS Dominion. Through the armored windows, she watched the bombardment of Zephyr Prime, the former capital world of galactic civilization. The massive planet burned under attack from 50 human battle groups, its proud cities and ancient libraries reduced to ash and radiation. "Final enemy resistance has been eliminated," reported Captain Lisa Park from the tactical station. "The planetary government is asking for surrender terms." Kate's face showed no emotion. "Negative. Continue the bombardment until the planet cannot support life." The Zephyrians wanted to see humanity's true nature. They are going to get the complete demonstration. The campaign had been swift and merciless. With all pretense of restraint abandoned, human forces had swept across the galaxy like a disease. Worlds that had supported the Hegemony Alliance found themselves facing the full fury of humanity's hidden military machine. The Saurian Empire had fallen in 3 weeks. Their fortress worlds, built over thousands of years to resist conventional attack, had been bypassed entirely as human forces used their space-bending technology to trap defending fleets in deep space, then hunted them down systematically. The Saurian homeworld had been bombarded from orbit until its surface was molten glass, General Marcus Stone now commanded occupation forces across 17 former galactic powers. He reviewed the casualty reports with clinical detachment. Total enemy losses: 47 million military personnel, 834 million civilian casualties. Infrastructure damage: complete in all primary systems, severe in secondary systems. His aide, Colonel Ryan Foster, shifted uncomfortably in his chair. Sir, the remaining neutral species are requesting emergency peace talks. They're offering unconditional surrender. Okay. Too late for peace talks, Marcus replied flatly. Okay. They had their chance for negotiations. They chose war. Now, they get to live in a galaxy shaped by human rules. The transformation was indeed sweeping. Human administrators, backed by massive military garrisons, had taken control of every major trade route, every important world, every strategic resource. It's a careful balance of power that had maintained. Galactic civilization for thousands of years had been shattered in a matter of months. Ambassador Lisa Carter, now bearing the title of Galactic Governor, established her headquarters on the former hegemony capital of New Ascension. Her first official act was to dissolve the Galactic Council and replace it with a human colonial administration. Effective immediately, she announced to the assembled representatives of surviving species: all military vessels belonging to non-human species must be surrendered for destruction. All weapons research must be transferred to human oversight. All trade routes will be controlled by the colonial authority. Any resistance to these measures will result in immediate and total retaliation. The Aquilon delegate, one of the few species to have remained neutral throughout the conflict, raised a trembling appendage. Governor Carter, surely some accommodation can be reached. Our species has coexisted peacefully with yours for centuries. Lisa's smile contained no warmth. Peace was an option 6 months ago. You chose to remain neutral while your neighbors declared war on humanity. Neutrality in the face of genocide is the same as cooperation with the enemy. You will accept human administration, or you will share the fate of the Zephyrians. The transformation extended beyond mere political control. Human technology, no longer hidden, began reshaping galactic civilization. Faster than light travel was revolutionized by human innovations. Weapons technology advanced by centuries in mere months. Most significantly, human approaches to conflict resolution began replacing thousands of years of diplomatic tradition. Captain Greg Miller, now governor of the former Saurian sectors, implemented the new policies with mechanical efficiency. All potentially dangerous species are to be relocated to reservation worlds under permanent observation. All advanced technology is to be transferred to human control. All historical records of pre-human galactic civilization are to be archived under colonial authority oversight. Dr. Monica Taylor managed the relocation program from her office on former Saurian Prime. Her job was to decide which alien species could be trusted to live freely under human rule and which needed to be controlled more directly. The Aquilons show acceptable compliance levels, she reported to her superiors. The remaining Zephyrian populations are too hostile for integration. Recommend immediate relocation to Reservation World 7. Reservation World 7 was a barren planet on the edge of known space. It had enough resources to support life, but no technology beyond basic agriculture. Species sent there would never again pose a threat to human dominance. The speed and completeness of the transformation shocked even veteran human observers. In less than a year, a galaxy that had been home to dozens of independent civilizations had become a human empire spanning thousands of worlds. Admiral Kate Sullivan, now bearing the title of Supreme Military Commander, reviewed the strategic situation from her new headquarters on the former galactic capital. Status of remaining resistance movements eliminated, reported her intelligence chief. The last organized opposition was destroyed in the Rigel sector 3 weeks ago. Total remaining non-human military assets, 0. Kate nodded with satisfaction. In civilian compliance. universal. The demonstration at Zephyr Prime appears to have been effective. No species is willing to risk similar treatment. Commander Paul Jenkins oversaw the destruction of the last alien military facility in known space. It had been a hegemony research station, hidden in an asteroid field, attempting to develop weapons that could threaten human ships. Demolition complete, he reported. The facility and all personnel have been eliminated. That was the last one on our list. As Kate looked out at the stars that now acknowledged human dominion, she reflected on the path that had led to this moment. Humanity had spent 3 centuries trying to be good neighbors, trying to fit into a galactic community that viewed them with suspicion and fear. They had hidden their true capabilities, fought with restraint, and offered friendship to species that ultimately chose to see them as a threat. The war had been inevitable. Perhaps it was better this way. Humanity no longer had to pretend to be something they weren't. They no longer had to hold back their nature or apologize for their capabilities. The galaxy now belonged to the species best equipped to rule it. Signal all sector commanders, Kate ordered. Begin implementation of the Long Peace Protocol. This galaxy has seen its last war. Under human rule, conflict is no longer permitted. The Long Peace Protocol was humanity's final gift to the galaxy. Perfect order, maintained by overwhelming force, where conflict was impossible because resistance was futile. It was not the future the galactic civilization had chosen, but it was the future that their choices had made inevitable. Lieutenant Colonel Sandra Hayes managed the implementation from her office on Earth. Long Peace Protocol is now active across all human-controlled space, she reported. Any attempt at organized resistance will be detected and eliminated within hours. The protocol used human technology to monitor every communication, every movement, every gathering of more than 5 individuals across the galaxy. Artificial intelligence systems, far beyond what other species had achieved, watched for any sign of rebellion or resistance. Humanity had warned the galaxy about what would happen if they were forced to abandon restraint. They had offered peace, cooperation, and mutual prosperity. The galaxy had chosen war instead. Now they would live forever with the consequences of that choice. The age of galactic democracy was over. The age of human dominion had begun. And in the depths of space, in hidden installations that even the new galactic government didn't know about, humanity continued to build and prepare for whatever threats might emerge from beyond the galaxy's edge. Because humans had learned the most important lesson of all. Peace was only possible when you were strong enough to enforce it.